This story is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Asking My Brother's Girlfriend to Pay Rent? So my brother Alan, 24 male, has lived with me, 25 female, for about 2.5 years. During his whole time of living with me, I never once asked him for rent or to pay any other bills. Our mom also lives with me, and I wouldn't dare ask her for rent, so I thought I'd do the same for my brother. Fast forward to a month later when Alan asks to talk with me. He then proceeds to ask me if his girlfriend can move in because she has nowhere else to go. Before I even give him an answer, he mentions she will be paying rent while she's here, so I agreed. Later that same day, he brings her to my house along with all of her things. As they walk through the door, I notice that she has 2 kids with her, ages 3 and 4, both boys. I ask my brother about it, but he tells me he forgot to mention that she has kids. Okay, hold on. Can this person live here? They're going to pay rent. Sure. It's not just her. That's a surprise. So the first few days of my brother's girlfriend and her kids living here were okay, but after a week, I started to really get upset. I noticed they would leave the kids alone all day in the living room, so basically no one would be watching them. So when I'd come out of my room, I'd walk into the living room to see the kids hanging on to my curtains, melted ice cream all over my brand new couch, pooped in diapers on the floor, food on the floor, and toys everywhere. Now my living room is always a disaster. My brother or his girlfriend didn't clean up after the kids, so me or my mom end up having to clean up the mess. Those aren't my kids, so I don't feel like it's okay for me to tell the kids what to do, but I lost it when one of the boys was eating chicken nuggets and for some reason decided to throw it across the living room. I immediately told him to pick it up, but he screamed, "No, you pick it up!" So I don't know what else to do. Also, the food that they kept throwing onto the floor and everything they eat is all food I buy myself. I didn't mind them eating food that I bought, but every time I go to get something to eat, I find most of it halfway eaten on the floor. At this point, I'm upset. So 2 weeks later, when it's time for rent, I ask Alan for his girlfriend's share of the rent. He then tells me that the rent is between me and his girlfriend, and it doesn't involve him. So if I want the rent, I can ask her myself. Ooh. Way to handle that situation there, dude. So I asked her for the rent, which, by the way, I only asked for $300 to cover her share of the rent. I pay $2,500 a month for rent, so I thought that was reasonable. She told me that she didn't know she would have to pay rent, but she would have it for me next week. She knew. Well, the next week passed and I got nothing from her. I asked Alan what's going on and he tells me she lost her job and wasn't going to be able to pay any rent. He then gets upset and tells me not to ask her again because she was going to get mad at him for me doing so. Well, it's been 3 months and I haven't gotten anything from them, just excuses. I brought up the rent again yesterday, but just got cursed out for bugging about the rent again, which made me feel like I was wrong for even asking them for rent, which makes me wonder if I'm the astronaut. Question here is, am I the astronaut for asking my brother's girlfriend to pay rent? Your brother agreed on her behalf to pay rent, but either didn't communicate that to her or did, and she just changed her mind once she moved in. And I think the likely scenario that's playing out in my head is they talked about it, maybe even planned on it. Maybe in the beginning it was innocent, but when she moved in and realized that, hell, they've got food, they got a roof over their head, they've got internet, they've got everything they need. She's like, suddenly the urgency and need to work is just disappearing from me. I don't think she lost her job. I think she quit because she had a place to stay and didn't need to work for anything. And you, sir, are just getting drained by everyone. You've got an entire house full of freeloaders. And the fact that they don't even watch the kids, they just let them run amok and have no consideration for cleaning things up or not destroying things in the first place. I think you got to kick all of them out. Your ma can stay. Everybody else goes. Everybody. Your brother especially, because he knew what was going to happen. He lied to you. He's allowing this to happen. He is showing just as much disrespect for you as everybody else in this scenario. They all need to go. Give them a timeline. You don't have like a rent agreement here. You got a verbal agreement for her to pay rent in the beginning. I don't know if that's going to hold up for anything, but you need to provide a written document at this point. Hand it to them that gives them X days notice. 30, 60, 90, whatever you want to do. Make it official. Get an attorney involved if you need to. You got to get rid of them. They're not going to stop. You're not going to receive rent. Everything you own will be destroyed, and this is not going to end well. Stop it now before it gets to that point. You are not the astronaut for asking for rent. That is the smallest. You wouldn't be the astronaut for kicking them out either. Pain creates change, right? How much pain is enough for you to kick them out? When they set something on fire, when they break your flat screen TV, how much?